Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we actually saw some new updates go out in Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone. We actually got quite a few patch notes for these changes. We've got a lot of bug fixes, some weapon updates, some attachment updates, lots to go through and break down. As you can see, we've got our Tuesday, September 24th patch notes between Warzone and multiplayer and zombies. So we're gonna dive through, break down everything that was updated. As we do so, if you enjoy the video, a like rating would be seriously appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, or maybe you have not subscribed yet, every single day I got you covered with news, updates, patch notes, and meta breakdowns. So if you want to guarantee you're up to date with all that stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But initially here for one global update, they improved the clarity of the jump scares toggle option label. So if you're trying to turn that on or off, it'll be a little bit more obvious now. We then get into the multiplayer specific updates here. So for UI and UX bug fixes, the attackers widget will now display the total player health as the accurate value of 150 rather than 149, so you'll actually be able to see the correct damage on your attacker screen. Scrolling the info panel of a featured playlist will no longer cause maps to disappear from the list. Buttons will no longer become unresponsive in the ranked play menu while using a mouse and keyboard input. Killstreak skin counter displays the correct value after purchasing a relevant bundle now. The stretched artwork will no longer appear briefly during menu transitions where it's just like super spread out. Filtering weapons in the gunsmith while in the CDL mode will no longer cause the player to be sent back to the main lobby. And they added a missing challenge description for the Constellation end camo on the STG-44. For progression here, operator long shot or collateral kills challenges will no longer track progress upon score streak kills, so you're not going to be able to cheese that unfortunately anymore. So like if your streak gets the kill at the same time that you shoot somebody, it might count as a collateral. You'd have that really good timing. No longer going to benefit you, unfortunately. On bait, they adjust an exploit allowing players to escape the playable area near the boardwalk. For modes on bows before throws, they swapped the bow weapon to Daryl's crossbow to celebrate the Walking Dead event. It's a celebration all around. We also got some multiplayer weapon updates. We'll have to see what's going on in Warzone to see if it's the same. But for battle rifles on the DTIR 30-06, they increased the recoil by 16%. On the long barrel, they increased the recoil gun kick in the horizontal and vertical control. On the Sanctum long barrel, they increased the recoil gun kick. On the suppressed barrel, the increased recoil gun kick, horizontal control, and vertical control. Demo nimble stock increased the horizontal recoil. Then the rifleman stock, they increased the recoil. So basically, the DTIR is going to have more recoil now. It already was not a super heavy recoil gun, so I can't imagine this is going to be a drastic update, but it will have more recoil than it did before. But damage values are still the same, so as long as you're accurate, you're going to be fine. It's still going to absolutely melt there. Then on the P90, we just talked about this bug in yesterday's weekly preview, actually, so funny that it's already being updated. They fixed an issue preventing the damage being dealt from the 27 meter to 37 meter range on that. There was a bug with the damage profile, so that's been fully updated. They also updated some attachments in multiplayer. On the Caster X1, they properly applied the intended 7% ADS sight timescale, and on the Bracefire, they fixed an issue allowing players to toggle tack stance on this, enabling unintended movement speeds. So they actually nerfed the crazy Bracefire, strafe build that we've talked about before. That's a bit of a bummer, but I could understand why it was adjusted. It was kind of crazy broken there. For perks on Gunslinger, they fixed an issue preventing the placed equipment from being picked up, and on the SAA streak, explosive damage is now capable of dealing damage to enemies who are underwater. For zombies, I actually got a couple of updates here for UI and UX with bug fixes. Addressed an issue preventing players from initiating interactions while the tap to interact behavior was enabled. Fixed an issue preventing interaction with the Rift pedestals after a player leaves their squad, and removed the ping button while interacting with a Rift pedestal as it overlaps the offer button. And then for gameplay, players can no longer initiate a vote for multiple rifts at once. Visual effects from the pristine mirror will no longer persist after it's collected. That wraps it up for MP and zombies. Now let's jump over to Warzone and see what's changed. So here we've got our Thursday, September 24th update. And then with this, the DTIR basically ended up seeing the same recoil nerfs that the multiplayer side has. So the general gun has more recoil now. The long barrel has more recoil. The Sanctum 60 long barrel has more recoil. The Shadowcaster suppressed barrel has more recoil. The nimble stock has more recoil. The rifleman stock has more recoil. You could obviously always stack more recoil benefits on this now if you wanted to change up your underbarrel to something that's going to give give you more recoil control. Obviously, Quartermaster Suppressor kind of negates all these changes, so like you're not going to notice, in my opinion, a significant difference if you do max out for recoil a little bit more, maybe drop a tad bit of velo, where it's still going to be the best mid to long range gun in the game. So this is not going to be a meta update that, you know, takes this thing out of the meta entirely. It's just going to be slightly more difficult to use in general, which I don't think is a bad update by any means. Definitely allows for some other rifles potentially to maybe be a bit more competitive, all things considered. And then attachment updates here, similar to what we saw over in multiplayer. The caster X1 compensator, the 7% ADS timescale will be properly applied now. And then more importantly, the brace fire, they fixed the tack stance issue. So like we just talked about the build for the cast of LSW, where you could put the brace fire on and then load up on strafe speed and tack stance accuracy and just break ankles constantly. Not going to be the case anymore. You're going to have that awkward sort of half ADS, not fully tack stance thing going on when you use this. So I don't know if it makes this thing necessarily as valuable anymore. You might be able to load up with other attachments elsewhere to maybe still make it work, but that cheesy sort of movement, you know, breaking ankles meta that we had for a couple of days, unfortunately is no longer super practical there. Then we got a bunch of bug fixes here as well. So they fixed an issue preventing the tack map from showing progress to the daily challenges. Just a quick little UI thing there, but could be helpful now that it's fixed. Fixed an issue allowing players to flip the floating shipment in Purgatory. So I guess you weren't supposed to be able to fully rock that thing and actually flip it. That thing is absolutely nuts trying to drive that thing and stand on it when players are controlling it and you're like half sideways. Honestly, a little bit of motion sickness going on with it. So maybe that's an update for the better, but it won't be funny to look up and see, hey, that shipment's upside down now. Crazy scenario though, nonetheless. Fixed an issue preventing players from interacting with loadout drops bought from buy stations after joining a match in progress. So I imagine that's more so geared towards Purgatory if you're joining a match in progress, which is still kind of a strange concept. But if you were having issues there with trying to get that stuff, you know, actually equipped, you're not going to have any issue interacting anymore. Fixed an issue that allowed bunker busters to damage players inside the safe zone in Purgatory. That's actually crazy cheesy. I had no idea that was an issue, but obviously a big one at that. You're supposed to be in the safe zone messing around, commending players for your challenges. Would suck if there was a bunker buster going crazy in the middle of that. Fixed an issue causing an eliminated player with camouflage sneaker equipped to drop the EMP ball tactical. I feel like that should be something that is in multiplayer, but nonetheless. Fixed an issue allowing players to purchase and use more sentry turrets than intended in Purgatory, so you could just buy a bunch of those, then spam drop them and kind of build yourself a fortress, if you will. Fixed an issue allowing players to duplicate self-revive kits and kill streaks in the Purgatory mode. So a whole lot of updates specifically based around fixing various different glitches with Purgatory. Part of me does wonder if they are testing out Purgatory as like, hey, should we do a 2-hour or a 1-hour sandbox mode in the future? You may recall there were a lot of leaks and rumors about that some time ago back, I want to say during Warzone 2. So maybe this is them testing it out and seeing how viable and what the reception to it is in general. But that said, that is going to conclude all the patch notes for today. Do keep in mind we do obviously have an actual weekly update dropping tomorrow on Wednesday with more content, other gameplay changes, so we'll be covering all that in full once all those updates are out. But for now, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it. Much love as always to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you're new to the channel or you have not subscribed yet, we should change that every single day. This is your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.